Do any of these descriptors sound like something you've said, thought, or posted on Facebook? And remember, I read Facebook, so I know the answers to this. I need just a few more hours in a day. I am so tired. I don't know how I'm going to get anything done. I'm burned out. I'm stressed out. I can't do it anymore. Any of that sound like any of you? But that was an answer. We all get stressed out and burdened. And we often get like Maddie and Elizabeth up here, where we get burdens placed on us, or we place them on ourselves, which is often the case, and we get to a breaking point. And so instead of being able to now decide what we're going to do, everything drops. And so either we have to now take the time to pick them all up, decide which ones are going to be thrown away, or what I would do is this. Sit down and look at them like I think someone else is going to pick them up. Our gospel reading today is from Jesus, and I thank God one of the things that I didn't have the burden of having to read Paul's reading, because if Paul took English class, he would have been told that we have these things called periods, and he might want to consider using them from time to time. At least I got marked down for run-on sentences. Clearly, Paul did not have the same opportunity. But Jesus says, "Come to me, all you who are heavy laden, and I will give you rest." The challenge for us is we usually see that when we have all these books on us and they drop. Then we say, I need help. I need help. Come to me, all you who are weary and heavy laden, and I will give you rest. And that's true. When we are stressed out, burned out, we need more hours to the day, we can come to Jesus, who will be there with us. But I wonder if there is more to this story, more to this sort of created order that God gives us in life, that is more than just coming when we're already there, when we're already burned out, when we're already tired, when we already can't do anything more. What if Jesus is saying, come to me, all of you, and I will give you the rest you need? Now, today I'm going up north, up to Traverse City, and then up around and one of the things I love, this is odd coming from Nebraska where we didn't have any, but I love to sit and watch the waves come in. And the waves come in like this, or did the waves go? Okay, isn't that much more peaceful? Well, that's great, except we live our lives. God didn't create our lives to be that way, though. We did. Maybe God is calling us to live in a rhythm of grace. Not just go to God when we're tired and burned out and can't do anything more, but to actually live in the rhythm that God created us to live in. To live more in this kind of wave pattern. Now, what kind of things burden and stress us out? Let's go with some of those things that we can't avoid. That, you can't say, I'm not going to do it. It'll be interesting to see what you can't avoid. Bills, cutting grass, okay? Children, making meals, huh? taxes, laundry, going to the stores. You know, that's interesting because that's some people's way of handling the stress. But for others, it is the stress, yep. Yeah, there's things we can't avoid. Here's the challenge. What are the burdens in our lives that we have sort of chosen for ourselves? Kids, okay. Huh? Friends? Going to work? Okay. Yeah, we do, most of us have to go to work, but some of us have chosen jobs that are pretty stressful and, yeah. Activities. Yeah. Somewhere along the line, we got the idea that we could do it all and have it all, and we should. So, yes. School. Yeah, I'm not sure that you chose school, but it probably got chosen for you. Yeah. Can we get rid of all these burdens? No. So Alex, you cannot take from this sermon that you don't have to go to school. I want that clear. It is a burden, but you still have to go. It is stressful, that's true. So there are things in our lives that are stressful, some which we put on ourselves and some which are there. We often then just think, this is my personality, if I just work harder at it, it'll get better. Anyone else have that? If I just work harder, if I stay up 2 or 3 hours longer, it'll all be done. Amazingly, it's not, but I think that. Or if God would just give us 4 more hours to the day, then I could get it done. Now, the likelihood of that is what? None. You know, it's interesting that God created, I don't know that God created the day to be 24 hours, but he did create, there is daytime and there is nighttime. We as human beings created something called electricity so that we could stay up later into the nighttime. It's odd that I was at camp several years ago, not to scare anyone going to camp, but the electricity went out. So also where I learned that if you're on a well and you don't have electricity, you don't have water either. I did not know that till this week. But for 4 days we stayed at camp, and we started getting up when the sun came up, and we went to bed when the sun came down. In 4 days, I felt better. I can't explain it. I still had water duty in the bathroom. Someone had to do it. But the rhythm was there. God created a rhythm, even in the creation story, about 6 days of work and 1 day of rest. God created all these rhythms, and we keep trying to buck it because we think we need to be busy. The busier we are, the better we are. We certainly don't want to look lazy. And so we allow every activity interested into our lives. We allow all the pressures that people put on us to come into our lives. And then if you're like some of us, you've got your own expectations and pressures of yourselves you put on yourself. And pretty soon, you are pretty burdened. What if you lived a rhythm of grace, though, where you didn't just wait until you got too weary, and then you spent your Sunday, Sabbath, because it's your day to sleep in and catch up. I know none of you guys do that. I dream of it one day. I've thought about doing it sometimes, but I know I'd get a phone call. But if we actually lived our daily lives in sort of a rhythm of grace, if we realized in this rhythm of grace when it is we need to say no, when it is that we need to reevaluate our choices, and maybe we are choosing things that are causing us more burden than benefit. Maybe we're choosing to be with people that are draining us when we really either need to be alone or we need to be with people who fill us. Maybe we are caught so much running around trying to be who we think we want to be that we miss out on this rhythm of grace. Now, we talk a lot about, and Brian used a devotion regarding the Sabbath. We often think of Sabbath as Sunday, as a day of rest. But it really is a day of which we sort of hang back from our daily activities and have the opportunity to work on our relationship with God, with God's people. But it's not just on Sundays we're called to do this. The waves come in every day. The rhythm of grace is about finding in your day where you're going to take some time to build your relationship with God. Because God is there just as Maddie was to help Elizabeth all the time. Maddie was right there. Wasn't she? We saw her. Jesus is right there to help us, to help carry burdens before they get too heavy. Jesus is there to help you make the choices that you need to make in life. And sometimes the most healthy choice is no. But you got to choose what you're going to say yes to. Choose what you're going to say no to. My prayer as we came off a holiday weekend, and I'm sure there was rest and relaxation for some and a lot of anxiety for others. And if fireworks are still going off tomorrow, I'm sure I'm going to be having anxiety. But find that rhythm in life that brings you that peace, that brings you that common flow where you don't need more hours in the day because God doesn't think you need them. You feel that ebb and even flow of life. And that when you do need to hear these words, that you hear them clearly. Come to me, all you who are weary and heavy laden, and I will give you rest. We have a God who is faithful. Let me repeat that. A God who is faithful. It's God's faithfulness to us that gets us through the journey. So we're going to sing, Great is Thy Faithfulness. And remember that as God is faithful, we respond with our open arms and come to Him all the time.